This is Railroad Rudy. For those of you that can't get a Valentine this year, just tell them you were a former Chattanooga heavyweight wrestling champion. Worked for me.
This is Markin Out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Follow on Twitter. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Marking Out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Running like fisting. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. We're marking out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans.
This is Markin Out. Welcome to episode 784. Thank you for listening. That's right. You can check us out at markinout.com. Also, wherever you are listening to your podcasts, such as Spotify, give us a 5-star rating to go with that 5-star Frog Splash. Make sure that you are subscribed over on YouTube. And if you haven't already, go buy a t-shirt, prowrestlingtees.com/markinout. Give us a like on Facebook. Also follow us on Twitter at markinout. Follow us on TikTok at markinout. And on Instagram at markinout11. You can follow me on all social media platforms at David PT DPT. That's right, it's Dave the Rave. You can follow Chris at CMSweeney85 on Instagram and Chris Sweendog on Twitter. And you can follow Brandon on all social media platforms. You can follow that handsome hunk at BTTG161. Brandon, how are you?
I'm doing awesome as always. Dave is not actually here. If you listened to our 15-year anniversary episode last week, you will know that Dave is in fact in California right now. So I am here by myself. I watched the Super Bowl for the commercials, and I watched it for Bad Bunny. I think outside of that 90s sitcom, the Good Will Hunting Duncan commercial, and then the Jurassic Park Xfinity ads, and I'll also say the T-Mobile one with Backstreet Boys, I think outside of those Super Bowl commercials kind of sucked. I think Bad Bunny killed it. The set looked absolutely incredible. Outside of that, I cooked a few things, mainly watched some pro wrestling. Gonna move to Monday Night Raw, kicked off with Becky Lynch, where she was basically crashing out the whole time. The IWC was tearing this apart. I feel like they don't understand pro wrestling sometimes. I thought this was perfectly fine. Backstage, before Becky Lynch even came out, she saw AJ Lee was there. AJ came out, and Becky Lynch said that AJ's been ruining her life. Still absolutely crashing out. Becky Lynch asked AJ if she wants a match at Elimination Chamber in AJ Lee's hometown, and AJ was like, you know, I've beaten you twice. I should be number one contender. And Becky Lynch was like, absolutely not. And AJ was like, well, no title, no match. And Becky Lynch finally agreed, but I thought this was fine. I don't think it was like overacting or anything. This was pro wrestling. This is her crashing out pro wrestling style. After that first match, we saw the Usos pick up the victory over Alpha Academy to retain the tag team championships. The Usos came out to Jey Uso's theme song. I don't get it. I truly do not get it. I don't understand. Why can't Jey Uso say, hit our music? Why can't the Usos use the Usos theme song? It's the same exact thing, except it's applied to both of them and not just Jey Uso. I don't get it. But I was happy to see another match like this from Alpha Academy. I think they had a better showing to actually become number one contenders. But I like this match. I popped at Akira Tozawa when he was doing the suicide dives. He did the run it back thing like Jey Uso would do. I thought that was funny. But the Usos both hit a spear on Otis. Then they hit the 1D and got the victory. Byron Saxton asked the Usos what's next. Jimmy said that Jey needs to get into the Elimination Chamber and then win the chamber. I don't think that's what should be next for the goddamn Usos. The tag team champion should be in a tag team championship feud. Yet Liv and Dominic come out, and she spoke about putting Jade and Stephanie on notice last week, and then loud pyro hit. Stephanie Vicaire came out. They went back and forth. Stephanie said that she hopes that Liv picks her so that she can beat the hell out of her. at WrestleMania. And then Stephanie Vicaire, they go back and forth some more. Vicaire ends up hitting like a Linda McMahon style slap on, on Dom. I don't know how else to describe that, but it popped me. And I liked the segment. I thought it was fine. Again, the IWC tearing this apart. You had Rhea Ripley pick up the victory over Lyra Valkyria and Ivy Nile to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. And honestly, even though she's not built up to maybe appear in an Elimination Chamber match, I feel like the only person who should have moved on to the Chamber was Ivy Nile. Rhea Ripley is the tag team champion. I just said it with Jey Uso. Tag team champion shouldn't be focused on singles championship. I want tag team feuds. Lyra Valkyria right now is in a tag team trying to get a shot at the tag team championships. Ivy Nile I thought was great in this match. I think the running knee from Rhea Ripley to break up Lyra's pin, I thought that was dope. And I think, of course, Rhea Ripley was the obvious choice to win. She hit the riptide on Lyra and got the victory. I would have liked to have seen it not be somebody in a tag team feud. Or at the tag team champion even. CM Punk was supposed to be next. Before that segment was going to be taking place, Dominic had spoken with Finn Balor before it. And Balor said that he's tired of being an afterthought. So I assumed that Finn Balor was going to show up during CM Punk's promo. He was there before CM Punk was out there. And he challenged CM Punk for the championship at Elimination Chamber. And Adam Pearce was like, absolutely not. He was not having it at all. He had a bunch of security come out. And then CM Punk showed up. Finn Balor got out of the ring. But Punk challenged him to get in the ring. Finn Balor was like, I want you to put the championship on the line, and that's how we'll do it. Adam Pearce still not having it. CM Punk agreed to it. And he made Adam Pearce make the match. The fans, no offense to the fans, they stupidly thought the match was about to take place on Monday Night Raw, so they booed when they announced that it was going to be taking place at the Elimination Chamber. But we have CM Punk versus Finn Balor at the Chamber. I think CM Punk will not most likely. CM Punk is retaining. But I'm looking forward to seeing that. And Michael Cole asked CM Punk what he's doing in regards to the championship. Why jeopardize his match with Roman Reigns? And that fired him up. He said that he's brave enough to put that championship on the line every single week. He spoke about Roman Reigns. I think, like I said, I think it's safe to assume that it's going to happen as CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, regardless of Finn Balor. You had Natty versus Maxine end in a double countout. Maxine, I think, had a good showing at the start of this. She locked the ankle lock on Natty almost right away. She also did another ankle lock outside the ring. But that's basically when Natty took over. Going to take maybe some time to not say Natalya anymore. But it took time for Natty to take over. She cleared off the commentary table. She slammed Maxine onto the table, beat her on the table. AJ Lee ran down. Natty backed off. People were like, why is somebody like Natty backing off from a fight? Well, because she's not stupid. Duh. She's out there specifically to cause pain to Maxine. Why would she stay there and fight? And then we saw Becky Lynch come out. She attacked AJ Lee. I think this was a fine segment as well. You had Javon Evans and a surprise tag team partner. Some people thought it was going to be Leon Slater. I think everybody should have assumed who it would be. It was El Grande Americano Original. Picked up the victory over Los Americanos, and I think this is exactly how you would have expected it to go. El Grande Americano got involved behind the referee's back. Bravo went for a dive at one point, and El Grande Americano Original moves out of the way. Javon hits an OG cutter midair on him. That was like the highlight of the night, although the camera cut is weird. I don't know if that was WWE's camera cut. I didn't notice at the time, but the play that everybody's playing is like two spliced together clips. But then the Original hit the diving headbutt, got the victory there. Americano attacked Original afterwards. Original took over, tried to unmask El Grande Americano. He escaped. So I'm invested in this. This is another one of those IWC, keep it in Mexico sort of things. I like this feud. I'm entertained by this feud. Regardless of it, whether it's in Mexico, whether it's on Monday Night Raw, whether it's at the Royal Rumble. Yeah, in an interview with Gunther afterwards, he laughed about what he did to Dragon Lee last week. He said that his road to WrestleMania should have started after retiring Goldberg, after retiring John Cena, after retiring AJ Styles. But he has to qualify for the Elimination Chamber next week. I feel like he has to be the one moving to the chamber. Like, I don't know who else. I mean, especially with who's in the match. No offense, but qualifier for the Elimination Chamber saw LA Knight pick up the victory over Austin Theory and Penta. I liked LA Knight and Penta going after Austin Theory at the start for a small team up. It didn't last long, but eventually Logan Paul and Bronson Reed came out. Also, they announced at the opening of Monday Night Raw that Braun Breaker's unfortunately injured himself while working out, and people are saying it could be 12 weeks or 6 months. So hopefully he's back sooner than later. But LA Knight had to deal with the Vision here. Bronson Reed took LA Knight down and hit a tsunami, which Adam Pearce was furious over. Austin Theory hit a stomp on LA Knight, but Penta broke up that pin. I thought that was really well done. And then the Masked Man showed up, and they took Austin Theory out. And LA Knight ends up hitting the BFT, gets the victory there. People are saying that it would be fun if it was Bad Bunny. And it could lead to a match at WrestleMania where maybe Bad Bunny's teaming up with somebody like Rey Mysterio or Penta. Or, I guess, LA Knight to take on the Vision at WrestleMania. During Super Bowl, Logan Paul was asked about if he was excited to see Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance, the halftime performance, and it was like a quick, dismissive no. That could have been storyline. And we could, in fact, be headed to Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny in some sort of fashion. Maybe it's just Mark Dreams. It would be great to see Bad Bunny added back to WWE 2K. Moving over to NXT, it kicked off with Joe Hendry, and he spoke about everything that he's achieved and how they were all steps to getting where he is now. The Vanity Project interrupted. Jackson Drake trashed him. They admitted to attacking him the other week. I thought it was a pretty good promo from Jackson Drake. And he tried to attack Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry ends up attacking all three of them. And at first, he's controlling them. They obviously took over. They laid him out. I was expecting to see, somebody make the save, but it led to a singles match. And later on, we saw Joe Hendry pick up the victory over Jackson Drake to retain the NXT Championship. I thought this was a pretty good showing for Drake. He started off on fire. Joe Hendry took over. The Vanity Project got involved. The referee turned around to see them get involved. And instead of the match being over, instead of a DQ, he sent them to the back. And they continued. The match went on for a bit after that. Joe Hendry hits the standing ovation, gets the victory. And then Ricky Saints jumped Joe Hendry after the match. We saw Blake Monroe pick up the victory. No, Blake Monroe versus Jada Parker ended in a double countout. Jada tried to attack Blake Monroe, I think maybe twice before the match started. It didn't work out in her favor. And Blake really controlled most of this match. And I get the ending, but also they just did this on Monday Night Raw. I 100%, it makes sense to me for this to have been the ending. I just think it's too bad that it took place the night before as well. Especially because it took place with two women. Jada Parker came out on top of that exchange afterwards. She started taking out security. Blake Monroe hightailed it. She got into the crowd. There was an absolutely pointless barricade spot, pointless to me at least, between Jada Parker and a security guard. I didn't get that. You had Tatum Baxley vignette for her. I thought it was amazing. Incredibly well done. I would have to assume there was AI involved, but I thought it was really cool. And we'll probably see her back soon. Yet Eli Knight pick up the victory over Josh Briggs to advance in the speed tournament. Knight hit like the craziest moonsault to win that match. The landing of that was insane, and I don't know if I've ever seen anybody land a moonsault like that. It was like, it was like video game-esque. Very bizarre. But LaFleur came out afterwards to shake Eli Knight's hand. And then Jasper Troy came out, attacked both of them. We're going to be seeing that match to see who will take on Jasper Troy. The doctor was checking Lola Vice out backstage. There was commotion. The doctor left. Rob Stone left. Kalani Jordan attacked Lola Vice. That sets up a match. The commotion was Keanu Carver taking a bunch of people out, including Shawn Legacy. Later on, he laid out a challenge. So that sets up a match, I think, in 2 weeks. Dark State had a promo in the ring. Deion Lennox said that they belong in the main event. The title was robbed from him last week. Cutler addressed Tony D'Angelo and said that he has no friends, he has no family. How stupid could you be, basically, to take us on 4-on-1? Griffin and Sugars addressed the culling. They showed up. They went back and forth. The lights go out like Dark State's gimmick. OTM came out. Then Hank and Tank came out. That led to a giant brawl. Tony D'Angelo showed up in all the chaos to take Dark State down. And then later on, we saw the Vanity Project pick up the victory over Hank and Tank. After what happened with Hank and Tank, the Vanity Project, separately, I didn't need this to be a match. They were killing it, but I didn't need this. And OTM showed up, the calling showed up during the match, Jackson Drake got involved, and that led to the end of the match. The main event saw Zaruka pick up the victory over Ren QCC to become number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship. Earlier, Zaruka spoke. Zarya wanted Soul to let her get the victory, and Soul was like, because Soul's had so many shots at the title, Soul was like, it's a tag team match, what happens, happens. Meanwhile, the Ren QCC, they were like, it doesn't matter who wins. As long as one of us gets the victory, we're good. Zaruka, as far as the match goes, not on the same page at all. At least for Zarya. Ren and Kendall, I think, were super polished in this as a team. Sol Ruka, at one point, goes for a soul snatcher on Ren. Zarya tags herself in. Later on, there was a corner spot where the referee called it a legal tag for Sol Ruka. I think that was 100% not what I would ever call a tag. So Zarya gets into the ring. She gets in there, hits a soul snatcher. Just as Zarya's hitting that F5, and Soul ends up, even though she missed the spot, she gets the victory. She still landed on Kendall. And then Fatal Influence came out afterwards for JC to stare Sol Ruka down. I think you had to assume that Sol Ruka was the one getting that victory. High hopes, though, you had to have been for Ren Sinclair or Kendall Gray. So that's NXT. Moving over to SmackDown. It opened up with Tiffany Stratton, who said that she's going to be walking into the Elimination Chamber expecting to win. And Nia Jax, Lash Legend, interrupted. Lash said that she's the upgrade from Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton used to be with Nia Jax. She also said that they're going to go beat Rio for the Tag Team Championships. Nia Jax is then going to qualify for the Elimination Chamber next week. They went to get in the ring, and then Rio showed up. Rhea Ripley said that neither of them are winning the Elimination Chamber because she's in it, and soon Io will be in it. And then we go to the match. Rio versus Nia Jax and Lash Legend, I think, ended in a double countout. I'm not 100% sure. It might have been just a no contest sort of thing, but Lash Legend and Nia Jax held the ring for a bit. Eventually, Rhea Ripley was able to powerbomb Nia Jax, and Io hit the over the moonsault. Lash Legend broke that up. Lash kept attacking Io outside the ring. The referee either called for the bell or it was a 10 count. Rhea Ripley got involved. Nia Jax got involved. Nia went to put Rhea Ripley through a table. I don't know if she was about to hit or try to hit the Annihilator from the turnbuckle. That would have been absolutely insane if that was like, if she went through with that would have been nuts. But Rhea Ripley got off the table. Io eventually, I guess, spears Nia Jax to the rope and puts her through the table. Lash Legend put Rhea Ripley through the barricade. Very, very chaotic. After that, Carmelo Hayes came out. But before that, backstage, he was involved with Matt Cardona, Apollo Crews, and The Miz. They all want the championship. But Carmelo Hayes in the ring, he said that the open challenge is closed for tonight. And he said next week he's going to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. And then he called Ilya Dragunov out for a match. And then the MFT showed up. Solo said that the line starts with him. It's not Ilya Dragunov. Mello sort of challenged them to put the tag team titles on the line. And then the MFT attacked them. Matt Cardona and Apollo Crews ran down to help them, but they also got beat down. And then Shinsuke Nakamura ran down to help them out. It got turned into a 10-man tag, where the MFT picked up the victory over Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov, Matt Cardona, Apollo Crews, and Shinsuke Nakamura. And I think, honestly, that small little segment backstage is why stories matter. You can announce a random-ass 10-man tag match, or you can put a little tiny bit of story beforehand, which then leads to the match, and the match is more enjoyable. It eventually turned into that move gimmick. Tama Tonga made a blind tag, hit Carmelo Hayes with the cutthroat, got the victory. I was expecting MFT to lose, so that was surprising to me, but it makes more sense with the ending afterwards where the lights went out. Solo he's holding up the lantern. The lights went out and the Wyatt Six showed up in the crowd just to stare them down. And then later on, Dexter Lumis had drawn a picture of Solo's head as the lantern, the Fiend lantern. I thought that was awesome. That was posted on the MFT, their locker room, which Solo just tore up, I guess. I thought that was a really good drawing, though. After that, we saw Alexa Bliss pick up the victory over Julia and Zelina Vega to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. I think it was cool that both Alexa Bliss and Charlotte signed autographs for people on their way out. But the beginning of this match I found to be a bit weird. They did a bunch of pins, but the other opponent that wasn't being pinned just watched the pin take place. They didn't try to break it up. And then they all tried their finishers, but again, the other person who wasn't in the finish just stood there and watched. But I fully expected Alexa Bliss to win this match. So when Zelina Vega hit that code red, I was pleasantly surprised that she was going to pick up that victory there. But I think Julia broke that up. If I'm not mistaken, Julia hit the Northern Lights bomb on Alexa Bliss. Zelina Vega broke that pin up. Kiana James got involved, and then not far after that, Alexa Bliss hit that Sister Abigail DDT on Zelina Vega, got the victory off of that. We saw Trick Williams pick up the victory over Rey Fenix. The chants for Trick during his entrance were so loud that I thought maybe they were piped in. But they cut to the crowd and you could literally see them chanting. I was caught off guard by that. Good on Trick, though. Trick cut a promo beforehand on Sami Zayn and Phoenix. But the match itself, man, this was a great match. That kick from Trick was absolutely crazy. Folded Phoenix right up. That could have easily been the end of the match. And they continued to go for a while after that. And they really went all out in this match. I think Trick, next week he's going to be qualifying for the elimination, or he's going to be in a qualifier for the Chamber with Damian Priest and Carmelo Hayes. I feel like it has to be Trick. We saw Jade Cargill pick up the victory over Jordan Grace to retain the championship. Very, very interesting to see the Judgment Day interrupt during Jade Cargill's introduction. Dom set up a Valentine's Day gimmick ringside for them. They had chicken nuggets and champagne. I don't know how I feel about all that happening during the match, like where they would the camera would literally cut away from the match to show them eating chicken nuggets. But Jordan Grace and Jade Cargill had some good back and forth in this. I liked them showing, both of them are very strong And they showed that a lot in this match. Jade at one point had her arm smashed in the ring post and had to do Jaded with one arm. I liked that ending. I thought that was well done. And then in the main event, Cody Rhodes picked up the victory over Sami Zayn and Jacob Fatu to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. Before this, Drew McIntyre spoke about all three of them. He spoke directly to Sami Zayn, and it seemed like Drew was going to be costing Jacob Fatu and Cody this match. So I was waiting this whole match for this. This match could have easily been a premium live event match. I thought this was so good. Such a great main event. McIntyre showed up just as Jacob Fatu was maybe going to win. Breaks the pin up with a Claymore. Cody fought with Drew. Drew took him out. Fatu went through a table. Cody ate a Claymore. He dragged Sami Zayn out to Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes kicked out at the last second. That was crazy. And then Sami Zayn hit a haluva kick on Drew McIntyre, and off of that, Cody Rhodes hit a crossroads, got the victory. Cody Rhodes going to the chamber. Very, very well done main event. But that is SmackDown. I'm going to take a quick little break, and I'll be right back here on Markin Out.
Ho! Hey, folks, I'm WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And if you want to check out a podcast, I said if you want to check out a podcast, check out Marking Out, tough guy. Ho!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Marking Out episode 784. Going to talk about AAA from last week. It kicked off with Dominic Mysterio, put himself over, and he said that nobody's done what he's been able to do there, and everything that AAA has is because of him. To me, it's quite the heel promo there. But El Ojo came out, and Vikingo questioned what Dominic thinks is going to happen in Puebla, and Dom said he's going to kick his ass in front of his family. Vikingo then challenged Dominic Mysterio to put his hair on the line as well. The title's already on the line. Dominic thinks he's going to be embarrassing Vikingo in his hometown. Vikingo wants to embarrass Dom by shaving his head. I don't know if Vikingo's hair is also going to be on the line, but we'll find out. There's a contract signing, I think, in 2 weeks or 1 week at least. After that, we saw Mystery Iguana and Lola Vice pick up the victory over Ethan Page and La Hiedra to become the new AAA Mixed Tag Team Champions. Chelsea Green, unfortunately, broke her foot. She was injured on SmackDown, so Ethan Page needed a partner. La Hiedra walked up and said that she knows about the titles. She was actually the person who held the title before Ethan Page and Chelsea Green with Mystery Iguana, so she fits right into that storyline, especially that she's feuding with Lola Vice. It makes sense. And I thought this was a fun match. La Hiedra at one point tried to kiss Mystery Iguana. He gets out of the way. He hits an Iguana Rana out to Ethan Page. Ethan Page at one point got a hold of Lieska, but Lola Vice pushed La Hiedra into Ethan Page. Off of that, distraction, Lola Vice got the victory there, and they won the titles. I think it's cool. I really wish Chelsea Green could have been there to defend the title, and they didn't lose them, but I'm fine with this. I'm happy to see Lola Vice and Mystery Iguana as champions. We saw El Grande Americano Original pick up the victory over Fenix, Octagon Jr., and Dragon Lee to advance to the Rey de Reyes. The original El Grande Americano attacked and handcuffed El Grande Americano before the match. And like I assumed last week, he was in fact booed. So I think it's cool to have that. I mean, like I was talking about before, I enjoy seeing El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano Original. On Monday Night Raw, we get the face version of Chad Gable versus the heel Kaiser. Mexico, it's face Kaiser, heel Gable. So I like that. This match, I enjoyed this. It was nice to see Dragon Lee versus Phoenix for a bit. Dragon Lee hit a Styles Clash, which I think was cool. Obviously, his former tag team champion partner, AJ Styles. El Grande Americano hit a German suplex on Octagon Jr. Octagon Jr. grabbed onto Phoenix. So they both ate a German suplex. Phoenix hit the Mexican Muscle Buster, but El Grande Americano broke that pin up. Phoenix also tried to unmask El Grande Americano, but he couldn't get it. He ends up loading up his mask, that being El Grande Americano. He took out Dragon Lee, he took out Octagon Jr., and then gets the victory off of that. And then I thought for sure El Grande Americano was going to break out of the cuffs and interrupt this match and cost El Grande Americano Original the match. He gets out of the cuffs afterwards. And he comes out, the crowd erupts when he ran down, and El Grande Americano Original ran off. Moving over to Impact, it kicked off with Moose. He spoke about creating the system, and he said that he knows what he needs to do to take them out. And there's only one person who can do it with him, that being Mike Santana. Mike Santana came out, and then Moose called out the Hardy Boys, and Daria Ray showed up instead. And she's like, this is not happening. You're not having a fight right now. You're in the main event. Wait for the main event. Backstage, Alicia Edwards told Moose, she's like, I think I'm done. I think my contract coming up, it's time for me to walk away. And Moose was like, you could always just be in my corner. So I was skeptical about that. Nick Nemeth picked up the victory over Rich Swann. I think Swann is still very enjoyable to watch. And to have an opponent like Nick Nemeth, I think really made for a good match here. The ending where Rich Swann went for that handspring move and Nemeth hit a zigzag right off of that. I thought that was a great counter. Eric Young after that called out BDE to get his answer about joining his group, and Eric said that BDE needs him, but his group also needs him. And BDE was like, I don't need Eric Young. I don't need your imaginary friends. I'm not joining your group. And then Eric Young clocked him. The referees tried to stop Eric Young from hitting a pile driver. He ends up doing the pile driver. He attacked security. He attacked a referee. He attacked more security. Santino tried to suspend him, and Daria Ray was like, no. Not happening. This is above your head. He's not suspended. You saw Mara Sade pick up the victory over Ryan Nemeth in an Albuquerque street fight. Ryan Nemeth came out wearing an Andy Kaufman shirt, which I think was funny, especially because he's facing a woman. It's right up. It makes total sense. I thought that was great. They used Dum Dums as a thumbtack spot. I like that. Outside of that, the ending, Mara Sade crotched Ryan Nemeth off the top rope. Super kicks him, gets the victory. The other week, they did a bunch of sport things, like the Mr. Perfect gimmick, where Mara Sade threw the football, ran to it. Ryan Nemeth couldn't do what she was doing. I don't know if they're going to continue this feud. I can't see them doing much more. Main event saw the system pick up the victory over the Hardy Boys, Moose, and Mike Santana. Alicia Edwards came out with Moose, and I was doubtful there. I thought she was going to maybe turn on Moose and stick with the system. Maybe she will. We'll find out. By the time this episode is out, she might already have done that. And I kind of feel like TNA's ring is too small for 8-man tags. It looked really cluttered there. As far as the match goes, I feel like Moose should have been way more involved and fired up. There was a moment where he was tagged in and he took on the system, but I think he should have been fired up against all of them from the start, because going back to last week, you should be 100% fired up. Going back to the opening of the show, he should be fired up. I think all of them should have been fired up, and I didn't really see that. But I like this match. At one point, Alicia Edwards prevented Brian Myers from using the tag title. And in the ring, Jeff Hardy used a submission move that I thought was really cool. I don't know. I have to assume that's somewhat of a tribute to The Fiend and Bray Wyatt. I thought it was really cool. But in the end, Bronson was able to hit that monster driver on Jeff Hardy, got the victory off of that. Medics afterwards were checking on Mike Santana after a dive to the outside, so I really hope he's okay. I didn't see anybody say anything about him, but it seemed serious enough that they were like actively coming down the ramp while the show was ending. So I hope he's fine, but that is TNA Impact. Hey, Brandon, got any shout-outs?
Hey there, pal, it's me, Mickey Mouse, and you're listening to Brandon Shoutouts.
School Spirits is back for its third season on Paramount Plus. I really think it's best if you let the episodes pile up because they tend to end with you wanting more. And if you haven't seen the first two seasons, I'm going to say spoiler alert, but Peyton List's character is no longer a ghost. She's readjusting to her everyday life. Meanwhile, her best friend ends up trapped in the spirit world, and they have to figure out why he got there or how he got there. They're also uncovering a bunch of secrets about the town, about people. I think this is a great show. Check it out, Paramount Plus. The Muppet Show returned last week with an episode on Disney Plus. I think it also aired on ABC. I think it's just sort of the kind of comedy that works with the Muppets. Seth Rogen has been working to get this going. I hope it leads somewhere. Sabrina Carpenter was the guest. Maya Rudolph also appeared on it. If you like the Muppets, I'm sure you've already seen this. If not, and you like the Muppets, you'll like this. This is like the most perfect project that they could possibly do right now with the Muppets. So I really hope we get more. My last shout out goes to Brad Arnold, who unfortunately passed away last week at the age of 47. He was the lead singer of Three Doors Down. They have hits like Kryptonite, When I'm Gone, Here Without You. Their music has been featured on WWE programming. They used Here Without You for Eddie Guerrero's tribute video. When You're Young was used for an Edge tribute video. And Behind Those Eyes was used for an alternate theme song to WrestleMania 21. I never got to see them perform live, and I really wish that I could have. I really would have liked to have seen that. I used to listen to Kryptonite on loop back in the day. Back on CD player, I used to just listen to the whole song, boop, go back, over and over again. Here Without You is also one of my favorite songs too, so it's a shame that he passed away. Go out and listen to Three Doors Down this weekend and pay tribute to him. But those are my shout outs. Now it's time for my
Mark Out Moment of the Week.
That is right, my mark out moments of the week. In the trailer for CM Punk's WWE 2K26 showcase, they showed off the Hell in a Cell match with Drew McIntyre. McIntyre pours out the bracelet pieces just like he did in the match, so I have to assume that maybe we'll get, as an alternate skin to the thumbtacks, we'll get bracelet pieces, charms, or whatever you would call them, beads. I thought that was cool. They also showed off WrestleMania 29, and since WWE 2K14, Paul Heyman has had the exact same suit in all of the games. They updated him 2 years ago, I think, but they still kept the same gray shirt, purple tied Paul Heyman. And it was used in the last time they did the WrestleMania 29 as a showcase match. Come to realize, it was never even the right suit. And they finally gave Paul Heyman the accurate attire for WrestleMania 29. I don't know how I never realized that it was not what Paul Heyman wore at WrestleMania 29. But good on 2K for actually giving him his right attire. I don't know more about the games. There's a lot to mark out over. I'm still on the fence about whether or not I'm getting it. But like I said the other week, they have that psychological hold on me where most likely I'll be getting the game. I don't know. But that's really all I have for my mark out moments of the week. Gonna take it home. right now. So thank you so much for checking out episode 784. You can follow us on Twitter at Markin Out, at BTTG161 on all platforms. Chris Sweendog, CM Sweeney85, David PTDPT. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/markinout, youtube.com/markinout11. Instagram is markinout11 as well. ProWrestlingTees.com/markinout, at markinout on TikTok. You can rate, review, subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, markinout.com, and we wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. Have a fantastic week.